Well, hi, good morning. Dr. Bob Flower with your Thursday, August 22nd, Master Pattern Report. And today I'd like to start off with a special tribute to my son Robert, who is, I'm not going to tell you how old he is. He's a Ironman survivor. He ran in the Mount Tremblant Ironman last Sunday and did very well. Great guy. Happy birthday, Rob. In any event, we had a number of direct scores on our calls the last time, especially with our S&P. Silver, of course, as you know, has made a nice move off of that $18 low, which we felt was pretty solid, and we still do. We think we might see a 23.75, 24 and a quarter move here for this phase. We'll see going forward. We're expecting a move in gold especially, and silver tomorrow, the 23rd, and then the following week, Labor Day weekend, we're looking at a decent move in those areas. Oil made its move, as we told you. We had said it'd be somewhere around 103. It was actually up to, I think it was 106, and we still like oil, if nothing else, because of the forces, the manipulative forces at work here, especially in the Mideast with what's going on with Syria and Egypt in particular. Okay, and we're looking at some serious stuff coming up over the next month. We think, as we said earlier this year, that towards the end of this year we'll see a better climate, better than what it has been, but still not good enough for where this country should be with all of its resources. However, let me say this about the economy and where we're at right now. This is it's a very treacherous market for stocks and all of the type of investments. There are a lot of swindles going on out there in all areas, and there are a lot of swindlers. Okay, I suggest you keep your powder dry. Don't try and get rich, especially an overnight thing. The courts, the government systems are working against capitalism, investors. Okay, it's a very negative climate right now, and I don't see it getting better until we have a definite change in philosophy. Whether it comes from the Democrats or Republicans, I don't care, but we better get it, and we better get it quick, because we're spending money on things that are not of any value, and we are promoting issues that are not helping. In fact, they are hurting our potential as a nation, as a people, and as individuals. Right? I'll give you one quick example. Our illustrious New York State had passed a law about 2 years ago, a little less than 2 years ago, called the bankruptcy exclusion law. And the way it works is that, I'm sorry, the foreclosure exclusion law. And the way it works is that if an individual has a mortgage and they go into foreclosure, and they live in the residence, the property, and the first $50,000 of the foreclosure goes to the individual. Then the balance goes to the lender. Right. This week, they've adjusted that from 50,000 to 150,000. Okay, so now This is wonderful for those people who are in foreclosure for whatever reasons, and believe me, I have compassion for those people. I don't have sympathy for them, but I do have compassion for them, and there's a big difference. However, this ruins an economy. Who the hell is going to lend in that type of environment? And you're already seeing, we're already seeing that in that rates are going up, mortgage rates are going up, loan to values are coming down, appraisals are getting more and more strict in their interpretation, so that where before you were getting 80–90% loans to value, that's a big trick today. Today you are effectively looking at 65–70% LTVs, and of course the costs of closing on these deals is incredible. Today, almost 50% of real estate transactions are done on an all cash basis. So that's got to be telling you something. Got to be telling you that there are good deals out there, of course, if you have cash, and that people are not trusting the banks. That they know that there's something afoot here. Okay, but these are the type of things that you have to be careful of. Now, I've told you for the past maybe 9 months, year, that it would be a good time to buy certain types of real estate in certain markets, and I want to re-emphasize again that I'm not talking about universal application of that premise. There are certain areas where the real estate is hot, and they're few and far between. There are other areas where it actually has backed off from the increase that we were seeing in the beginning of the year. So I'll say again, as far as real estate is concerned, if you want to buy a home, condo or co-op or single family freestanding residence, it's a great time to do it. Rates are great, prices are down, go for it. Just make sure that you're buying it to live in and a far future investment. When I say far future, I'm talking about 10 years. Okay? If you want to buy an investment, make sure that you have a bailout scheme. And by that I mean that you buy it, something goes wrong, you have a way out. And the way out doesn't mean that you're leaving your money there. Okay? So a bailout could be where somehow you can perhaps refinance the property in 2 years after you buy it, or 18 months after you buy it, pull your money out, you don't have personal obligation, go for it. Or if the property is such a good deal that it's hard to refute, go for it. You know, I used to have a cousin that would say, hey, listen, if you want to learn to dance, you got to get up on the dance floor and move your feet. Okay? You can't watch videos, you can't sit there and watch. You got to get up there and move around. It's the same thing with being an investor, okay? Especially in real estate. If you have any real estate questions, give me a call. Send it to our website, Dr. Bob Flower at Jen, Dr. BobFlower.com. I'm sorry. I had to think about my website. I don't go there that much. Okay, so, and insofar as the market is concerned, we definitely think that, of course, we're in a correction here. It's a question of how bad it's going to be. How are the kids going to look at it? You know, the Wall Street guys who only care about today, maybe tomorrow. And what's going on with the huckering down of the QE spending, investments, whatever you want to call it, of the Treasury Department in buying notes and mortgages and whatnot. And I don't think that, I think we're going to see a lot of that drop off unless there's a very, very, very serious hit to the market. And that might be coming very soon. You might be seeing a 15 to 20% drop soon, within months, if not maybe even a little sooner. So while they're talking about things getting better, it's other parts of the world where the money is going, okay, the Far East in particular. And the biggest fear that I think everybody has in the back room and in the closed circuits, closed circles, is China and the China bubble that everybody is anticipating. There is going to be a burst there, and when that comes, that's when we have our major issues. So we're still looking for safe havens. We're looking for good investments. Right now, we're not being very aggressive. If we see something we like, we are acting with a great deal of diligence and investigation, of course. But we'd rather be in a protective mode at this point in time than an investment mode, unless you're talking about long term. There are some great long-term investments out there in the stock market. My good friend Mario Gabelli, you may want to follow Mario. He has a number of funds, number one and number two securities analyst in the world. And listen to him and to some of the companies that he really likes, and keep in mind that he's a moderate term investor. He looks at things 3 to 5 years, 7 years out. Okay, so you're not going to. This is for excess cash, and not necessarily flyers. All right. So in any event, that's it for today. We'll be with you next week. Sorry for the skip there, but we've been incredibly busy doing a lot of research and a lot of work, a lot of hours. Have not been able to get to this, and I think I want to talk to you about Europe next week. My little colleague here, Janet, just returned from Europe, and she had some horror stories about the economy there and the people and what they're going through firsthand. So we'll have a little chat about that next week. Okay, have a good week. See ya.